Well, hello everyone, I hope you're doing well, because today we have a big topic ahead of us. We're going to see how you can visualize and take measurements in your projects in VR. So what we're going to do first, obviously, is opening the browser from the Oculus in this case. Then we'll directly go into ATIS.cloud, so web app.atis.cloud/login. There we go. We'll just open this, enter our email, password obviously, and then we'll log in. Alright, now that we're logged in, we're going to select a project. So I'll just go into projects, and then I'll look for any of my projects. So I can just use the keyboard in the Oculus to do so. I'll look for EDF in my case. There we go, I have two, and this is the one I'm looking for. So I'll just click on go to viewer with the controller directly, which will open the project as if I was on a computer, on a regular PC. It will just open it on the screen in front of me as if this was a computer screen. Then just as for the computer, you'll select 3D view right here, and I'm now in the project, but not yet really in VR. Okay, I'm in VR around me, but this is just a screen. I can move around as if the controllers were a mouse, so I can just click and then turn around and I'll see my project as if it was a mouse. I can zoom and unzoom and all of that, but that is not really VR, that is not what we want. So what we can do is go right here on the right and click on the VR button. So I'll just put my controller on it and then press the trigger that's behind, and that'll actually open VR. So there we are, that's actually VR. So now if I want to move around, what I'll do is I can use the right controller to just move around. Okay, so if I put the little joystick backwards, I'll go backwards. If I put it forward, I'll go forward, and it will follow the direction of the controller. So you can see there's a little beam, that's the direction I'm gonna go in. So if I put my controller like this, looking at the ceiling, and at the same time I put the joystick back, then I'm gonna go down. Okay, this is how it's going to go. I can follow this and change the direction thanks to this. I can also go left and right, obviously, just like this. Then on the left controller you have a similar joystick, but it won't do the same thing at all. What it will do is, if I put it backward, it's going to slow me down. So let's do an example. Okay, I'll just go backwards, and then I'll go forward. And as I go forward, I'll pull the other one backwards. So you can see I'm going slower and slower. And if I do the opposite, I'll be going faster and faster. Okay, that's how it works. And also, if you go left or right on that controller, what will happen is it will rotate you 45 degrees. Okay, so you don't have to rotate physically around yourself. You can just use this to get rotated in the project, right? So that's how it works. That's really easy to use. It usually only takes a few seconds to get acquainted with it and to start moving around pretty much freely. If you use both triggers at the same time, you will be able to change the scale of the project. Here I'm pretty much in a 1-to-1-ish scale, and if I want the project to be small, like if I was looking at it in my hands, what I can do is take the two triggers and then make them closer to each other. And so now the project is pretty much like it's a model I can hold in my hands. I can have a full overview of the project like that. And now if I want to go back in there and make it bigger, I can just do the opposite. So select the two triggers and then pull the two controls apart, and it will make the project bigger. So you'll come back to a more 1-to-1 scale as we did have before. Now if I want to take measurements, you'll go right here on the left controller and press X. Just go ahead and press X. This will open this window. Okay, this window will show you the current measurements that you already have in the project, and it will allow you to create new measurements. So for example, if I go on the plus right here, what it will do is open a menu that will show you all the type of measurements that you can take. So for example, let's say I want to take a ground distance. Let's take a ground distance from, so there, I'll press on the trigger right here to drop the first point. So click, the first point has been dropped. I'll just close this so we can see a little bit better. And then I'll go backwards, I'll slow down, and I'll turn around to be able to visualize this and put it on the other end of the building. So there you go. Second one. Now if I want to stop the measurement, what I'll do is on the left controller, press the trigger, boom. There we go, measurement has been stopped. And so now we can see 13.95 meters. That's the distance that we have that we have right here. Now what I'll do is I'll drop a height from there to the floor so we can have the actual height of this. So let's go back in there, back into plus, and then this time we'll select delta. And I'll drop the first one up there, and then the second one, I'll close this down there. Okay, so now it's stopped automatically because it's just a 2-point measurement, so it will stop automatically as it does on the computer. What you can do is first, you can reselect the point by just putting your beam on it, get it back. So you can select it by clicking on it and then click again to let it go. But you can see now it's up there and I wanted it to be right here. So what I can do is get to it, and once I'm actually close to it, what I can do is actually go on and grab it. And I'll use the little trigger that is inside of the controller right here. Now if I hold on to this trigger, I have the measurement that is held onto my controller. So now let's just go back down, and what I'll do is I'll be able to place it directly. So what I can do is try to be a bit precise. So I'll just take it, and the moment I let go of this, the point is going to be dropped to where it is. When you're using the inner trigger, the point doesn't have to be attached to anything like a point or a model. If I want to take it and drop it in the middle of nowhere, I can do so. If I want to place it right here, I'll place it right here. Okay, and you can do the same thing with the left controller, also with the inner trigger. So you can just select it and then drop it. Then in this menu, you will find your new measurements right here. So for example, if I go into the delta, what I can do is repeat the measurement. So what it will do is basically erase what I currently have and allow you to do it again. If you click on zoom to, it will zoom you to the position of that measurement. So for example, let's say I'm going out of the project, there we go, and I want to see that measurement. What I can do is just click zoom to, and now I've been zoomed to the position of the measurement. You can see it is right here. Now if I click rename, I'll be able to change the name of it. So just rename and then use the regular keyboard to change the name. So for example, here I'll call it height, validate, and now if I go back, it's not called height. Okay. Then there's the duplicate, which will allow you to just take the measurement and duplicate it on the side. So if I click on duplicate directly, you will see the new one has appeared, and also it has been duplicated right here. You can see there's a point up there, and the second one is probably somewhere down there. Yeah, there it is. So you can take that and then move it around, and you have a exact copy of this with the same values. And finally, the last thing is delete. So you just click on it, and it will delete the measurement right away. And it's as simple as that. You will find those measurements once you get out of the VR. Okay, so this one, all of these will be visible from out of the VR. And be sure to check out the description where you will find how to import and export measurements, because you will also be able to see them in VR. Alright, now the last thing, to exit the VR, you'll just go on the left controller right here and press on that button, the menu button with the 3 lines. So you just click on it. And now, if I go back to the browser, I have my browser, which is right here, it's back, and I'm now back in regular mode. If I want to reopen the VR, I can just go back right here, and also you'll see, I can see all my measurements have been dropped. Note also that collaborative mode is also compatible with VR, so that means that you just go into collaborative, all enter the same session name, and then all enter VR. You'll all be able to see what each other is doing and be able to follow each other.